Dear friends, in Hungary, we decided we don't need more genders, we need more rangers. Less drag queens and more Chuck Norris.
Okay, I got you. Hold on. There we go.
We believe there is no freedom without order. If there is no order, you get chaos.
Hungary has become the biggest reference when it comes to limiting the access of children to anything at all to do with the LGBTQ community.
What Viktor Orbán is doing is legitimizing already homophobic and transphobic people to maybe take their thoughts into words or actions. Like, if the Prime Minister can say it, then I can say it, right?
Orbán applauds Putin. He loves Donald Trump, even though he's a clown.
If you look at the anti-LGBTQ propaganda law, it's like copied from the Russian anti-gay propaganda law.
He's not a servant of the people are servants of the power.
In a country where coming out is really a life-threatening step for a person, where it is a risk, somehow we still exist.
O mundo vem passando por uma onda radical e conservadora causada pela extrema-direita. A gente vê isso na Itália, na Áustria, nos Estados Unidos e, é claro, no Brasil. Nesse movimento, uma das grandes estrelas é Viktor Orbán, que com suas medidas antissemitas, racistas e xenófobas, vem mudando a cara da Hungria desde 2010. Com esse quadro em mente, eu diria que o grupo mais prejudicado talvez seja a comunidade LGBT. Por isso eu vim até Budapeste, uma das cidades mais lindas e fascinantes da Europa, para tentar entender como é olhar para o futuro num país que está tão visceralmente ancorado no passado. Esse lugar onde eu estou é super simbólico aqui em Budapeste. Eu estou na frente do parlamento, que está aqui desde 1885, e essa praça, nas últimas décadas, virou um palco de grandes protestos, principalmente protestos que atraem jovens. Na verdade, a gente consegue justificar o que está acontecendo aqui na Hungria olhando para quem vota e para quem não vota. Menos de 10% das pessoas com menos de 25 anos votam e mais de 80% das pessoas com mais de 60 anos votam. Os centros urbanos também não são conhecidos como lugares onde as pessoas votam muito. Então você tem as áreas rurais, os subúrbios com pessoas mais velhas, mais conservadoras, mais religiosas, mais radicais votando muito e pessoas mais jovens, mais liberais votando muito pouco. Agora a gente está no topo de um prédio que durante 35 anos foi a melhor universidade da Hungria, o CEU, Central European University, ou Universidade da Europa Central. O que é triste dessa história é que essa universidade, agora esse ano, fechou as portas porque ela tinha uma aula que era muito popular, que girava em torno da pesquisa sobre sexualidade e gênero. Exatamente por isso, por essa ideologia anti-LGBT, radical, conservadora, a escola teve que fechar e foi reaberta em Viena. Em 2021, o parlamento húngaro aprovou uma série de leis anti-propaganda gay. segundo eles. O que isso significa? Que você não pode falar, publicar, escrever, mencionar a comunidade LGBT em nenhum ambiente onde possa haver uma pessoa com menos de 18 anos. E isso foi se expandindo. Hoje em dia, um casal gay não pode, por exemplo, adotar uma criança aqui na Hungria. Infelizmente, isso está se espalhando pelo mundo. A gente vê isso nos Estados Unidos, na Flórida, a gente vê isso demais, infelizmente, hoje no Brasil, e a inspiração é a Hungria. Thank you so much. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Thank you.
I believe I'm
Cheers.
the only one having a beer. Where are you guys from?
From here, local. We're local.
Budapest?
Yeah, I've been living here in Budapest like for 20 years now, but I'm from the countryside.
How has Budapest changed from when you guys were children to now?
You know, memories are always the best and always better than the present. But as far as I can recall, much more freedom was there.
Yeah.
Like when I was going home from a bar, for example, and you know, I just held my partner's hand in the middle of the night, and we were not afraid being beaten up by somebody. And I would really reconsider doing this. I mean, today, because I think it's the environment is not that free. It has not that much of a freedom like back then.
Now I think the hate is just growing, not just in Hungary, everywhere. So we are hate everyone, whatever it's gay or gypsy or Jew or whatever it is, we have to hate because it's not a white Hungarian national something. Thanks to God, or anything. I was grown up in a very supportive family. In this year, there was a really big competition show of Drag Queen Hungary. And my grandmother was there. She's 74.
Wow.
Someone who grown up in a communism. And in the communism time, it was kind of sick. So they said it's
Also prohibited.
yes.
Yeah. Gay people were viewed
As villains and, you know, enemy of the state, and so they got in prison. If you do some micro-influencing, and if you talk to your friends, if you talk to your family, that other people also exist, like trans people, gay people, lesbian people, non-binary people, etc., etc., etc. So if you talk to, first of all, your micro-environment, I think it's a huge step under these circumstances in Hungary towards accepting each other. If we want to tear down those walls, I think we have to start in baby steps, because, you know, under these circumstances, that's all that we can do. And although under these bad circumstances, we still have like a flourishing drag queen community, a flourishing party life. You know, we just do our job, right? We just do it.
What is it like to be, you know, part of this community here right now? And what do you think can be done in order for this place to evolve and become more accepting of the LGBTQ community?
To be honest, it's a Hungarian thing. If you get a minimum, you will never need a maximum. I can live with my boyfriend. I can walk in the street. Nobody hit me. I have a job. I can perform in somewhere, and I can go to a pride in a year.
So lucky already.
For a gay thing is in Hungary, it's wonderful. Why I should need more? You have to learn. You have more rights. You have more things to do. You have to be powerful. You have only one life, but you have to live in happily. And the minimum is not the maximum.
I really think that these topics that we are talking about are not really interesting enough for the younger generation. The younger generation has the possibility or has the capability of thinking and changing the world. But if you see all these topics coming through you through all channels, you just simply lost your interest. I'm not really interested in Orban, I'm not really interested in politics. And you know who can be mobilized? Your grandparents and your grandparents' generation, because they have the time, they have the appropriate amount of information that they think is correct from the channels, from the TV, from the state-owned media. So it's like, unfortunately, the government has like unlimited resources for propaganda, and the other side simply does not. Sometimes I feel we just live in a bubble, and in our bubble we have the best life, really. We have the best life. And we have the best friends, we have the best parties, we have the best community. But outside this bubble, everything is like dusty, threatening, and I really want us to come out of this bubble and show everyone that we are a really flourishing community and we are really persons that you can be proud of. We should come out of our bubble and show ourselves to the world.
Na última década, muitos jornalistas vieram do mundo inteiro, se mudaram para Budapeste para cobrir o que está acontecendo no aspecto político desse país. O Nick Thorpe é um dos mais relevantes. Eu vim bater um papo com ele. Nick, where were you born?
I was born in southeast of England, in the county of Kent, just below London, 62 years ago. I moved to Hungary in 1986, a few days after my 26th birthday, and I've been here to my surprise ever since.
One thing that I find frightening, scary, is this wave of adoration for leaders. It's something that you see in Russia, you see in Venezuela, you see in North Korea, and more you see in Brazil and in America. This sense that the prime minister, the president, it's almost like a supreme leader. How impactful or how damaging can it be to live in a country in which you can't criticize your leader, you think your leader is above it all? What is that like here with Orbán?
The key to Orbán's success is that, unlike Western Europe, in Eastern Europe, society came after the state. First they created a state here, and then society was kind of limping along behind it. And the state, therefore, has always manipulated society, told people what to do. And to that extent, Orbán is not anything new in Hungarian history. He's just the latest of a series of pretty autocratic leaders who understood their own society and claimed the sort of God-given right to tell them what they should think. He's cleverer at pulling in manipulating power to please his base, but at the same time not fall completely foul of the European Union and, you know, annoy liberals who will make a lot of fuss about this for weeks or months and therefore distracting people from the real issue, which is energy prices. He loves to attack. He likes a good conflict. That's why attacking him, he normally wins, because he loves, and if he hasn't got the conflict around him, he'll generate a conflict. I think he's a brilliant political opportunist, and he really knows how to identify regularly subjects which are very divisive and very emotional, and then to put so much energy into winning, having produced that divisive argument. It might be over migrants in 2015. It might be over LGBTQ people last year or the year before. At the moment, the latest subject is abortion. These are things people feel very strongly about, and then he throws the whole barrage of his propaganda or publicity machinery into gear, and everyone else is left standing there, and he kind of wins the argument by fair means or foul. And that's how he does it again and again and again. It's difficult, you know, you can walk in the 8th district and see people with rainbow T-shirts, men or women holding hands. There's a strange contradiction. In some ways, Budapest is quite a free city. That's why a lot of young Western people come here, including from Britain, from Germany, for a weekend, for fun. There's a party district which the police largely stays out of. So it's not a kind of classic authoritarian country, let alone a dictatorship. In some ways, there's a lot of freedom of spirit here, which I think the LGBT community, for example, among others, manages to survive within. This is one of the peculiarities, the paradoxes of this country. It is still pretty free. People are against the state. At the end of the day, people are looking for the loopholes. This is the country of loopholes. This is the country without consequences.
Descubra os aromas intensos e sabores mais sofisticados das cápsulas de café L'OR. Compatível com máquinas de café Nespresso. L'OR, obra-prima em sabor.
Foi numa viagem que eu conheci o maior amor da minha vida, que é o meu filho. Eu nunca vou esquecer do dia que eu abri a porta e tava ele chorando. Eu agarrei ele e falei, meu filho! Eu nunca mais desgarrei. Toda vez que eu viajo, eu volto outra. A Bahia me deu régua, compasso e um filho, rapaz, quer mais.
A história da Hungria é uma história de conquistas e ditaduras. Por aqui já passaram os mongóis, os celtas, os romanos, os turcos, até que eles chegaram num período mais calmo, um período mais próspero, conhecido como a Era Dourada. Esse período durou o século XVII, XVIII e XIX, e o século XX foi muito complicado por aqui. No início do século XX, eles tiveram que lidar com a Primeira e com a Segunda Guerra Mundial, os nazistas vieram até aqui, fizeram um estrago. Depois, os soviéticos fizeram a mesma coisa e, por incrível que pareça, a Hungria só conseguiu soberania, só ficou realmente independente em 1991 e entrou para a União Europeia em 2004. O que, do ponto de vista dos direitos humanos e dos valores desse país, é fundamental, porque funciona como um freio de mão para que o primeiro-ministro Viktor Orbán não torne isso uma ditadura declarada e talvez sangrenta. Budapeste é resultado da fusão de Buda, que fica do outro lado do Danúbio, do lado oeste do país, e Peste, onde eu estou agora, que fica do lado leste da Hungria. Durante muito tempo, esse lugar ficou conhecido globalmente como um grande centro cultural, um lugar onde a educação era valorizada, um lugar promissor financeiramente. Mas teve momentos trágicos. Um dos mais desastrosos foi durante a Segunda Guerra Mundial, quando centenas de milhares de judeus foram assassinados aqui, na Hungria. Esse monumento, essa homenagem atrás de mim, é conhecida como os sapatos à beira do Danúbio e, basicamente, está aqui para lembrar a população de milhares de judeus que foram fuzilados aqui. Antes deles serem assassinados, eles tinham que tirar os sapatos para que os corpos caíssem no Danúbio. Uma homenagem com o intuito de lembrar os erros do passado para que a gente possa evitar cometer esses mesmos erros no futuro.
Hi.
Pedro, nice to meet you.
Hi.
Were you born in Budapest?
No, I was born in the countryside and I grew up there, and then after I graduated high school I came here. I really wanted to leave that city. It was like 18,000 people, like in the middle of nowhere. It still is a very, very conservative city. It's very, very Fidesz-oriented, so I just wanted to get out.
What was your relationship with your parents like? Were they very conservative?
Well, in like the grand scheme of like all Hungarian parents, probably they are in the middle.
Okay.
From my perspective, from being a young queer woman, they were very, very conservative, and that was really frustrating.
People like you in China and in Russia and in Iran and in Saudi Arabia, they quite often have a really difficult, challenging, sometimes tragic destiny.
Yes.
Where does your willingness, your appetite for this fight come from?
You know, activism can be very full of anxiety, and especially there's this effect that the more you know, the more anxious you are, and I'm sure you know that feeling, that the more you recognize injustices just like around you on the street, the more you feel like this fight, you know, we're never gonna win, and this is hopeless. And in my experience, like the best tool to deal with these feelings is to do something about it, and preferably with others. So at least you're not feeling powerless and you're not feeling alone. And what a lot of people who emigrated to Western Europe from Hungary are telling me, that you bring this feeling with you. You bring the country with you. You bring all those anxieties and depression about Orbán with you. And I think that's why I haven't left the country, because I feel that I would feel just more angry and more anxious about how this government is treating this country that I love, but I would have less tools to combat it. But at the same time, I'm just really fearful, and especially for the LGBTQ youth. Like, if your parents were already kind of homophobic, and if they really like the prime minister, they're like, okay, this is now what I have to do. This is what I have to do to, I don't know, to protect my values, to protect my family, to protect my country. And that's why I'm so furious with these right-wing populist politicians, because they are tapping into your inner core fears. Of course, every parent is afraid for their kids. Every parent wants their kids to be safe, to be happy, to live a full life. And if a politician who you really look up to comes in and saying that, look, but these people want to turn kids gay and trans, and they want to ruin their lives, you're like, oh my God, this is really horrible. And especially in Hungary, when 80% of the media is owned by the oligarchs and micromanaged on a weekly level by the government, then this message gets everywhere.
It's undeniable that things are different. You know, you see a fluidity when it comes to our understanding of gender that we didn't see for a long time. With that said, we see this right-wing wave upon us. We see Orbán winning elections. We see Bolsonaro and Trump, and the list goes on and on and on. How to navigate that paradoxical situation?
As Hungarians, we tend to be a bit pessimistic. The glass tends to be half empty for us. We have a long historical background to support that attitude. We had the Mongols in the 13th century, and then we had the Ottoman Empire for 150 years, and then we were part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and then we chose the Germans side on both world wars, and then it just got worse and worse and worse, and hundreds of thousands of Hungarians got deported and killed, and then 40 years of communism. So we have this experience that it just never turns out well for us. We are always on the bad side. We are feeling at taking responsibilities for our bad choices, but at the same time, that's the Hungarian psyche. I don't think that our anger is necessarily a bad thing. If you're very furious about injustices in the world, I think it's a fair thing. You should be. It's very constructive to channel that energy into some sort of activism or your art or write a book or, you know, like you can find your journey. I think it can poison your life if you just bottle it up and you're like alone with it. But if you have like a community to work together with, or if you have either a job or a hobby that you can channel this anger into,
yeah,
that's what changes the world. I think what we really need is like a very strong sense of solidarity, and people who fight for human rights, people who fight for equality have to really establish this strong network, because even though that there are more and more people who are more educated about LGBT topics and we have way more media representation, it's very hard to combat that type of narrative that there is a way somehow to change people's sexual orientation or gender identity.
A gente está numa região conhecida como Distrito 7. Na verdade, durante muito tempo, esse aqui foi o grande reduto da comunidade judaica. Por incrível que pareça, 23% da população de Budapeste era composta por judeus. O que é interessante é que a gente está falando de uma cidade que está acostumada com conflito. Você vê as marcas de bala, você vê esses traumas nas paredes de Budapeste. E eles acabaram abraçando, aceitando essa realidade. Tanto que, hoje em dia, alguns dos lugares mais procurados de Budapeste são conhecidos como ruin bars, bares em ruínas. Ou seja, eles ocuparam esse prédio, essa construção que estava totalmente depredada, e abriram uma série de bares. E é um charme. Parece que aqueles são viciados num drink que é basicamente vinho tinto com água com gás. Deve ser uma porcaria e por isso eu não vou pedir ele. Saúde. What's up?
Hey.
How are you, Pedro?
Fine.
Gabor, I heard you're the man here.
Yeah, the one of the owners.
Amazing. What is this langos dish?
Yeah, it's a traditional Hungarian dish.
Yeah?
It's a deep fried dough
Okay.
with toppings, and the most typical topping is sour cream and cheese. It's a typical street food from the old days.
Ooh. Excuse me. Thank you, man.
Enjoy.
Thank you very much. Isso aqui foi inventado depois da Segunda Guerra Mundial, quando Budapeste estava destruída e passando por uma crise econômica horrível. Ter um fogão, ligar um fogão todo dia era caro demais. Então eles ligavam o fogão uma vez na semana, faziam pão para a semana inteira e quando o pão ficava velho, eles fritavam o pão. Eles foram incrementando queijo, creme, tomate, agora tem até hambúrguer em cima. Parece uma massa de pastel, meio que um donut salgado, sabe a rosquinha? Não soa muito bom, mas é ótimo. Bom apetite e boa noite.
Descubra os aromas intensos e sabores mais sofisticados das cápsulas de café LOR, compatível com máquinas de café Nespresso. LOR, obra-prima em sabor.
Oi, gente, bora seguir nessa nossa missão de traduzir tudo que a gente fala no mercado financeiro, aqueles termos que muitas vezes ficam complexos na nossa cabeça. Quem tá comigo hoje é a Luciana Kovacs. Tudo bem, Luciana?
Oi, tudo bem, Ciane?
Tudo ótimo. A Luciana, gente, ela é Head de Estratégia de Clientes do Master Private. Vamos entender o que é o Private. A gente não tá falando de qualquer conta. A gente tá falando de clientes mais específicos, vamos dizer assim, né?
Exatamente, Ciane. O cliente private é aquele que tem capacidade financeira a partir de 3 milhões de reais. Ele precisa de um atendimento mais personalizado.
Quando o cliente ele entra para esse segmento private, ele passa a ter acesso a investimentos diferentes, investimentos mais exclusivos. Sim. O que muda na carteira dele?
É importante você ter comentado sobre isso. Ele passa a ter disponíveis outras opções, além daquelas mais conhecidas pelo mercado, como os fundos exclusivos, além do fundo exclusivo, ofertas restritas, por exemplo, que são aquelas destinadas a um pequeno grupo de investidores. Além disso, a gente também considera a parte de estruturas, como holdings, investimentos offshore, a parte de projetos filantrópicos, se fizer sentido para aquela família, por exemplo.
Vamos supor que essa pessoa tem essa grana super boa, super importante para poder fazer o investimento, mas não sabe exatamente como fazer.
É só ela ligar pra gente. Esse investidor vai ter à sua disposição uma assessoria especializada. Aqui no Master Private, a gente olha o cliente não apenas como o cliente que está investindo, cuidando ali do planejamento financeiro, é uma visão global.
É uma assessoria bem
gestão
completa,
de fortunas.
Né? Maravilha, obrigado, Luciana. Acho que deu para entender muito bem um pouco dessa jornada, né? Então hoje, se você investe e você ainda não é private, tomara que isso aconteça o quanto antes para você ter opções ainda mais bacanas de investimento. E bora continuar entendendo um pouco mais do mercado financeiro com os mestres no assunto. Até o próximo programa, gente. Valeu. Kitnet virou estúdio. República virou co-living. Imóvel por assinatura? Eu acho que a gente está diante de um novo jeito de morar. Cozinha, sala de jantar, sofá, escritório, mas precisa arrumar um espaço para uma cama. Definitivamente sim. E o business dessa semana bate a porta desse novo mercado de locação e serviços imobiliários.
A experiência de morar num imóvel nosso, ela tira os aborrecimentos que tem de alugar de uma pessoa.
Se você investe num imóvel e você precisa de dinheiro, você tem que vender o imóvel como um todo. No fundo imobiliário, você pode vender cotas desse fundo.
CNN Soft Business. Daqui a pouco.
Uma das heranças que os romanos deixaram para os húngaros durante o império deles aqui foi essa paixão por termas. Essa construção, esse prédio onde eu estou agora, ele já existe desde o fim do século XIX e ele não é o mais antigo de Budapeste, mas é o mais popular. Esse hábito de se banhar em águas termais, nessas águas quentes, acreditando que elas têm fins medicinais, isso é uma coisa muito húngara. You weren't born in Budapest, were you?
No, I was born in the countryside, like 2.5 hours by bus from Budapest, like very close to the border of Slovakia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my entire childhood was there, yeah, which was really happy.
What brought you to Budapest, though?
After university, I was working with an ocean cruise line, and after, I started to do a tour guide training here in Budapest. So basically, when I'm not a drag queen, I'm a full-time tour guide.
When did you come out to your parents?
My mom came to me. So she was the one who, for the first time, approached me and she asked if this is the case. And I told her yes, and she started to cry and she found it quite difficult because she was worried. But nowadays we are like best friends. In 2020, there was a competition called Drag Queen Hungary, and I won. She was there at the competition with my sister, so she cried during the whole time, so she just loved it. It was also really encouraging to see actually her that she supports me this much. I have to say I was a very, very lucky person, in this way, because unfortunately I hear stories 1,000 times worse.
There is a rhetoric, a homophobic narrative when it comes to the leadership in Hungary. Did you think twice before you decided to become, a visible, successful drag queen?
In my opinion, Hungarian society are accepting. So this is, in my opinion, a little bit controversial because what the government is trying to project towards the world, and like in Hungary, in terms of LGBT rights and the community itself is completely different from how the actual people of Hungary, most of them, feel about the community. But unfortunately, this is not the case in the countryside. And unfortunately, especially on the part of the country where I'm coming from, there's lots of poverty as well. And people are not that well informed. If we are considering that, you have to live day by day, earning your living, earning your bread, then you can hardly focus on anything else, hardly focus on opening your mind up.
What was it like the first time you saw yourself in drag?
It was really different, but in a very good way. So at that time, I realized that this is a part of me which have always been there, and it just feels so good that now it can actually exist. In the past 2 years, I have to say, not only me, but in Hungary, like in Budapest, lots and lots of drag queens started to exist. I guess I was just, part of this wave, basically, that started.
How competitive is this world?
Very much so. Here in Budapest, I can definitely say that there is a big competition. But I think there are lots and lots of talented queens. They really look at it as an actual form of art, as I do.
Yeah, it is an art form, without a doubt. And I think more and more people acknowledge that.
Yeah.
What makes a good drag queen?
I think it's really important to create a good connection with the audience, and not only when you are on stage. And this is, for me, is absolutely crucial. Because here in Hungary, it is not as accepted, in general, as we would like it to be. And for example, for someone who comes to see a performance at the first time, I think it's also really important to show that person that we exist not only on stage, but we are as normal human beings as anyone else. And when you get to talk to someone, especially a Hungarian person, if she or he asks what this is all about, to tell her or him. So I think communication, especially here.
Got you. Okay, drag queens first.
Yeah. Thank you. Good luck for the bingo, for everyone. Everyone is telling me this, baby, but I'm a drag queen, not a magician. Our first number is 52. All right, the next number we have is 64. And the next one we have is number 2.
I'm almost, look.
Guys, focus. We got this.
I got my lucky charm here. Must win. We must win.
Bingo police, right here.
Sorry? So guys, we have 2 bingo! All right, and this is going to be... Wow, one of the other most amazing prizes, 1 bottle of Irsai Oliver wine. Make some noise for the winner!
Viajando o mundo, eu sempre tento entender o que a gente pode aprender com os erros e com os acertos de outras culturas, de outros lugares. E aqui, na Hungria, para mim isso é muito claro. Quando a gente fala dessa comunidade LGBT, quando a gente fala dessa comunidade de drag queens, a gente está falando de um grupo de pessoas que, num lugar como esse, você precisa de muita coragem para você exigir um lugar na sociedade, um lugar de respeito, para que a sua voz seja ouvida. O que sempre me fascinou nesse grupo de pessoas é que, apesar dos obstáculos, apesar dos desafios, eles conseguem encontrar beleza, graça, ironia, poesia, ritmo, charme, tentar entender com respeito essa evolução, né, da nossa sociedade. Eu falo isso com relação ao nosso entendimento do que é gênero, do que é coisa de homem, do que é coisa de mulher. Isso devia abrir a nossa cabeça para um mundo mais unido. Eu espero que a gente aprenda com esses erros da Hungria. Eu espero que a gente aprenda a não tolerar essa narrativa que segrega, que persegue, independente dessas regras draconianas que excluem essa comunidade, eles estão aqui. E a verdade é que eles não vão a lugar nenhum. Eles estavam aqui séculos atrás e eles vão estar aqui daqui para frente também.
There are people fighting for Russia's gonna win this war.
You know, Hungary was occupied by the Soviet troops like for 40 years.
Yeah.
And how could they forget that? It's like treason. It's like treason.
Yeah. But the problem is they are not conservative. So if they are conservative, okay, some people are conservative, but they are not conservative. You can see the Fidesz party. They're fucking with each other, sniffing cocaine, yachts, stealing money, making a palace.
So who's preaching now? Who's preaching now?
Outside country. So they are not conservative.
Entre Mundos. Apoio